University. So we've taken a little snapshot of what you would see in the Philippines, and there are 5 windows to see these different snapshots, so to speak. On your right side, there are 2 windows. This is the 3rd, and then on your left side, wrapping around, 2 more windows for you to view different areas of the Philippines. Well, I think it's time to call our diver up. So let's call Diver George to the front and center. And as he comes up, you can wave to him. He can see you, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me. And there he is. Let's give him a nice wave. Oh, what a great entrance, Diver George. Uh-oh. So I'm giving him the signal. If there are any other divers in the group, you only use hand signals. So I'm telling him it's not okay. I can't hear him. I'm pointing to my ear. And oh, and he made such a wonderful entrance too. Hopefully we'll get it worked out. Oh, I heard him breathing. Oh, I can't move. Very low though.
Very low.
Very low. Can those of you in the back hear him? Oh, that sounds better.
Is that better, Debbie?
Better. Still.
Okay, we're back in action.
All right, excellent.
A
Good
special
job.
salute, by the way, to April, who's at the top of the tank supervising the dive. She's the one who's dealing with the electronics problems.
All right, so she figured it out. You know, Diver April is, or Dive Tender April is very important to you right now, isn't she?
She's watching my air supply. The air's coming to me through that yellow hose. So no matter what I think of April the rest of the time, for about 25 minutes, she's my best friend in the whole world.
Your best friend, because Diver George, you're not a fish, are you?
Not hardly, no. I'm still very dependent on some sort of external air supply.
And I suppose that's what that yellow line is for.
That's exactly what it is. Again, the air comes through the yellow hose. This red line is the communication wire.
Oh, good. So you're able to breathe. We can hear you now very well. And there's another something funny right here. What is that thing you're holding on to?
To us, it's not funny. That's a suction cup, just a plain old suction cup with a handle on it. And actually, those of you who may have been here half an hour ago watching me clean this window quickly might have seen that I was getting blown around a bit. There are some very strong jets that circulate the water through this tank, and it's a lot easier to stay in one spot if you have something like this to hold on to.
Now, how much water exactly is in this exhibit?
This is a 212,000-gallon tank. In fact, it's the 2nd largest coral reef exhibit in the world, and the largest in North America. But all of that water circulates completely every 45 minutes. So again, there's a lot of motion in here. Moving water, by the way, is one of the things corals need to survive.
So very good for the corals, but a little difficult for you if you didn't have that section.
It's why I get the big bucks.
Okay, well, Diver George, I already had someone looking at this funny little string here. To me, it looks like a little volleyball net. So those of you that didn't see, there are 2 bottles, and connected between them is a rope, and hanging down from it, it looks like there are pieces of coral. Well, do you want to explain about that, Diver George?
Well, those are, in fact, pieces of coral. We have a long, ongoing relationship with the Philippine government to work on coral restoration and research there. And this, let's call it exhibit that you see here, it's something that's being developed to help hold corals that are being harvested from the wild so that they can be held for shipment in the ocean. We don't want them touching anything. So by putting them on that string, by hanging them on it, again, they're not touching anything, they're not likely to be damaged, and then when they're ready to be shipped, they can simply be.
Wow, so we just have to take a tiny little portion of a coral because that coral, when you bring it back and put it in the exhibit, it will grow.
That's a great term. It's sort of like plant cuttings. You can take a little bit of a coral and transplant it somewhere else, and given the proper conditions, it will flourish there and grow into an entirely separate coral fairly quickly.
wondering what exactly a coral is. So let me see if they can figure it out. And if you don't know what a coral is, give a wild guess. So what do you think a coral is? I'll give you 3 guesses. Is it a plant, an animal, or is it a non-living thing like a rock? So those of you that think coral is a plant, raise your hand. Okay, a few hands there. Those of you that think coral is an animal, raise your hand. Okay, good amount of hands there. Those of you that think coral is not living at all, it's just a rock, for goodness sake, raise your hand. Well, you know what? Coral looks like all 3 of those things, but in reality, coral is actually an animal. A little tiny animal. And Diver Georgia, how would you describe that coral animal?
Well, you're right.